Hello, Northville. Welcome to For Your Consideration, Episode 2. My name is Marco Serafimovsky.
I'm Ava Edison.
I'm Emma Maynard.
I'm Marissa Sims.
I'm Ava Cardali.
Today we'll be debating the movie 500 Days of Summer and who we think is in the right and wrong in the situation. If you have not watched it, go watch it so you understand what we're talking about. Let's get to it.
So what team is everyone on?
I'm on Team Summer.
I'm also on Team Summer.
I'm on Team Tom.
I'm on Team Tom as well.
Tom. Correct answer. What points do you have? You guys can start off.
I feel like you should start off.
No, I'm more for the rebuttals.
I think Emma, you should start off.
You go first.
All right. Fine. I think that Summer is in the wrong. I understand she wanted nothing from the beginning, but she still did all this stuff with him, led him on for a year and a half approximately, and then proceeds to go and marry someone 2 months later, 3 months later, after saying she didn't want a relationship with him for over a year. That's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I see where, it can look wrong, but I feel like Tom, built Summer into, his expectations. I think he fell in love with, the expectations of her, not, really her.
I don't think that's relevant to the situation. I think what matters is the fact that she played him. And then
I don't think he would have had those expectations if he had nothing to base it off of. It's hard for someone to have expectations.
But he based it off of, infatuation. He based it off of, her love for the Beatles and, the Smiths and, things that, aren't real signs of compatibility.
Well, it started off that way, but then he goes on this whole tangent where he's like, I love her smile,
Listen, they were literally going on dates,
yeah.
frequently for a year and a half.
But she said she wanted it casual.
Yeah, but you don't do that with
And also,
someone casual.
she said that 3 times in the entire movie. And they have hung out so many times in between each of those
Yeah.
times.
But she also doesn't believe in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, a
She, wants-
huge
Yeah.
thing.
And then, again, that just helps our case. Married someone right after.
And at the end, she says that she changed her mind. Tom made her change her mind.
Yeah.
Which is
No, she was like, what did she say? She's like, I saw something I didn't see with you or something like that.
But do we really
when they
think
were
she
talking
did
on the
love her
bench.
husband? I don't know if she
Yeah, she
does
says that
truly
she
love,
does
but
love
does she?
her
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah, she said that.
I don't know if she truly does. If she
Okay,
doesn't
well,
believe in
why
love.
would she marry
Yeah,
him
that's a
then?
great question.
Maybe Tom was just a learning person, and then she understood what to do for the next person.
But
that's,
just because he's a learning person doesn't make it.
it's common
right.
decency, I feel like, at least. She knew what she was doing. She could have ended it way before that, but she kept it going.
But he could have
And
too.
she kept.
He
He
kept
didn't want
believing,
to. He didn't want to.
Yeah, he-
Also,
but he-
Summer should have realized that she didn't like him in that way and then stopped hanging out with him so much if she knew that he liked her that much.
She was using him.
He also.
But I don't think she wanted to end it either.
Well, she knew that Tom was expecting a lot more from her, and Tom was kind of in his own reality with it, and she completely knew that, and she continued to let it going for her own benefit,
Yeah.
not knowing that it would hurt Tom in the end.
But he did ignore pretty clear signs and
I mean,
And her
Ideas,
telling
yeah.
him that she doesn't want to
And
be
then
with
they
him.
would go and do stuff right after she said it.
Yeah,
Your
the one
point
time,
is-
Tom, they got in a really big fight, and Tom was saying all this stuff that intimate stuff that they would do, and that it just it's not normal to do that as friends.
And then she
right
proceeds,
after,
yeah.
right after so they get in a fight and then they leave, and right after Summer goes and finds him and comes to his
walks
apartment.
in the rain.
Oh, yeah.
Walks in the rain to his apartment.
And doesn't even say anything.
Yeah.
But I think Tom continues to rewrite the narrative to fit his idea. The whole entire
Let's
time they're
spoil it.
going out, he does only remember the good. I think he whenever he's by himself, he's just thinking about the good, and I think that's easy to do.
Well,
But it also is gonna hurt.
it
him
shows
more.
the bad too.
But I also don't think he's wrong for that. I mean, yeah, it might be weird, but
you always make up the person to be better than they actually are.
Yeah, but that's his fault.
Okay.
Like she told him she doesn't want stuff with him.
And it's hard 'cause it's almost like an abusive relationship situation where like he is so in love with her and like he knows it's like wrong,
But he
But-
can't let her go.
but it is so wrong.
How's that his fault? You can't control that. You can't control your feelings for someone.
How's it Summer's fault if she just told
Because
him
she
what
knew
doesn't
she
want?
was
can't control
using
her
him. She was
feelings
Yeah,
using
either.
him.
She was her
She
feelings.
was using him.
Oh
I
my
do
God.
agree with that.
Mhm.
There's a difference
honestly,
between
I do
being in
agree with
love-
the fact that she was using
You
him.
can't say that.
And she
Yeah.
never said that she
I
didn't
know-
like
I know what you
him.
mean.
She just said that she didn't
I know what
like
you
she
mean
didn't
now.
like the idea of marriage or anything like that with him. And then right after she like
Got married.
yeah.
But like even
But
after they like
it wasn't
broke
like
up,
it was months, not like years. It was like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Like that's
To
short.
marry someone and not be in a relationship with them, or in my opinion, at least 6 months. That's like,
but if
Talking to
she
Mike.
did truly love Tom, like it's only been like it's been like what, a year and a half with Tom. If it was really like a love situation, then she would have married Tom in 3 months.
yeah. So
Like, she
it
never
wasn't a
felt
love
Well, that's
situation,
but
so
she
why
proving
our
didn't
point.
she
She
You're
end
never
it?
felt that way.
You're proving our point. She
And he
did him
became
wrong.
like, Tom was angry after the breakup. He didn't like,
Because she
he
said
wasn't,
you're
like-
still my best friend. Who wouldn't get angry at that?
but like he's bitter about the fact that like he didn't only lose Summer, but he also lost his like whole entire like fantasy of her. Like he lost
Well,
like everything
yeah,
that he built.
It's the infatuation.
Yeah, that sounds like his fault.
But
that is
okay,
his
but
fault.
at the same time, Summer didn't have to build that up for him in the first place. Because if she never wanted that, she didn't have to do it to begin with, let alone for a year and a half.
Yeah. But I think also the movie is from Tom's perspective. So we also see like a lot of like his internal thoughts and we don't get to see Summer's. Like he gets to see
That's the point.
his
of it.
idea of what Summer's thinking, but we don't truly ever know what Summer's thinking.
Yeah,
Like
because there's like split screens and stuff.
Right.
With reality expectations.
So
I think it does that because Tom's in the right.
put yourself
but put yourself
put
okay, wait,
yourself in
you go.
Tom's shoes.
Right.
If you were in, say you were in love with this guy,
Hmm.
and you guys were doing all this stuff for a year and a half, and then you meet up at a diner, and she says, "I want to," or he says, "I want to end it. We've been arguing too much." When you haven't been arguing, or at least that's what we see. And then,
But that's what
and
we
then
see.
he's like, "You're still my best friend." How would you react to that? How would you react to that?
But also, like, I understand, like, I would be upset from that situation, but we never get to see from his perspective. So obviously, like, they're gonna like be in the wrong because when you like end things with someone and you are still friends, like, obviously, like, Tom has a right to be upset and he has a right to be like sad about that. But that doesn't mean that he's like ultimately in the right, like automatically.
But also like at some point, like when they didn't see each other for a while and then they saw each other again for the first time at that one wedding, like you can see that like Tom distanced himself from her because he like finally like got the idea in his head that like, oh, she's not into me. And then when they see each other again, she's into him like in a different way. So then he thinks it's something else, and then she's married that.
And then she proceeds to invite him to a party. Turns out it's her engagement party.
And she was engaged the entire time she was dancing with him, which is just weird.
Mm.
Yeah, Summer just has like a
Issues?
weird idea of love. She like doesn't know what's right and wrong.
yeah.
Which makes her wrong.
I do think Tom has issues, and I think it shows that also at the end of the movie when he meets Autumn.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
I hate that part.
Hmm.
I do think that Summer knew about those issues, and she knew about his attachment to her.
And continue to
And
use
she
it.
saw
Yeah,
that, and
completely.
she had so many opportunities to end it. And if she did say, "Oh, we've been arguing so much," okay, then why didn't you end it?
Yeah.
And
I
the
also
first
think
argument you had, if it was
if
so
Summer
casual.
really, really cared about him, then she would have seen like the toll that she had on him and stopped hanging out with him.
But I think we never see the toll that Tom had on Summer. Like she could also
Yeah,
be like
that's true.
remembering the good parts. Like I remember like when they went to IKEA and they were like just like messing around and like playing in like the summer house. Like it just like literally looked like two kids who were like having fun outside, like playing.
First
Like,
date,
we
by
never
the way.
like we never really know like what happened. Like he's just remembering it as a perfect day, but like how did it actually unfold? Like we
Yeah.
don't ever know.
Like it would show when Summer would get like uncomfortable that he'd be making it more than just the friends of them
Mm-hmm.
because she doesn't want more.
They also talk about like in like when they had their karaoke night, like
That was towards the end, though.
the camera like lingers on her and like it shows like how Tom felt instead of like what actually was happening.
Yeah, like it's all from Tom's perspective and like how he's like makes her out to be what he wants and not maybe what she actually is, and we don't get to see it.
And like Summer could have just been having like fun. Like she could have just been having like, a good night, and Tom's like, oh, like this is perfect. Like everything's like, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Wait, I don't remember the karaoke
It's
thing.
like near the
It was
beginning.
like very
Or,
beginning.
in the middle.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
before
when
they were
Tom
even
was
like.
It was like
yeah.
the office party.
Mhm.
Oh
after.
yeah.
I think
But
that
that's,
if
like-
Summer-
And that's also when Summer was like, "Do you like me?" Like all like weird. Like why would you say that?
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
forced him to kind of be like, "Yeah, I guess," which is just kind of weird.
Yeah,
if she didn't like him.
She was well. That was all just build up. That doesn't really matter. I feel like.
I think that if she was so uncomfortable with Tom wanting to be more than friends, then she could have literally said, "We're just friends."
A year in advance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You go ahead.
I just think that out of every, I'm not denying that like Tom, yeah, he's definitely exaggerating it, and it's made to look like she's the bad person, but at the same time, Summer, like she just said, there were so many opportunities, constant opportunities, over and over and over, yet she never did anything. She was using him. She led him on. She did all this stuff with him. For what? For what? Why did she stay for so long? For what? That's all
I
I'm
think
just
they
saying.
both were in their wrong, in their own ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think
So-
the movie, you'll never like really know.
Yeah.
Like in the movie,
Oh, I know.
yeah, and
No,
that's
no,
what's
no.
up.
I,
yeah.
I know the true answer.
Do you?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right, okay.
I see what Emma's saying. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't see.
Right.
But
No, there's only one right answer.
But I think that Tom didn't believe she was like pulling away. Like he didn't want to ever believe that she would leave.
And he
Like,
could like take
he was, like-
accountability and just take himself out. of
Right.
that
He was so
situation.
sure that they were just going to be together forever, and like
Right.
he could have ignored like so many signs about why they weren't perfect.
Yeah.
I think that about sums up our debate for this
Yeah.
movie. I hope you agree with me, Ava, and Marissa's side of the story.
It's the only right answer.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
I
Thank
agree
you so
with you.
much. Bye, Northville.
Bye, Norphil.